Yeah, Vishruti, can you keep your video off, please? Oh, okay, it's only a photo coming. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the second question is, what was easy for you? Maybe easy to accept whatever was happening, easy to plan, easy to interact with child, easy to accept whatever was happening around. Any one thing you just note it down for yourself. And if you're done, just give me a yes in chat window so I get to know that I'm there with you. Yes, easy to accept. Yes, Sunita. Presentation is not shared. You need to see it through the link. Okay, so if you're done with the second question, what was easy for you? Give me a quick yes in the chat window. Let's move ahead. Yeah, at this moment, you don't need to type in the chat window. It's all your reflection. Neither I nor the group needs to know at this moment. So maybe you can note it down in your notebook or wherever you want to just make a note of it. And as you think about what was easy for you, maybe you can also look back and think something which you did differently in last 2 days with your child. Okay, Amit is asking he can start the PPT from there. Yes, Amit, please go ahead and then see if that helps.
You have to give a it was post as disable participant screen sharing. So if you can open it for me, then I can share it.
Yeah, Amit, let me just finish this process, then we'll take a pause and then we'll, yeah, thanks a lot for this offer. Okay, so let's come back. One thing which you did it differently in last 2 days. And as you think about what you did differently, maybe you can also like to add what is that you can do differently tomorrow or next when you're interacting with your child. And if you're done with all the four prompts, maybe you can type yes in chat window. So I get to know that I'm there with you. Okay, so let's move ahead and pause with this. This is a small little quote, slide number 4 of Jiddu Krishnamurti. What he's talking about, the reflection.
So what Jiddu is saying is, he's saying to understand life is to understand ourselves. And that is the beginning and the end of the education. So just as an example, if I've come back from school, as a parent, most people will ask, whatever, let's say there was a match at the school or a test at the school, how was the test? So somehow we are a little more with the outcome, with the task, and less with the child. If we can help the child look into himself, something like as simple as what was most interesting in the test today, rather than how was the test. Even if the test was horrible, there can be something interesting. Even if the test was super easy, something can be interesting. So, little shift in how or rather what we reflect on can make a lot of difference in the way we understand our own learning, as in the child understands his own learning. It is no more outcome driven, but it is him or her driven. She is the center of education, not what she is learning is the center of education.
Yep. So, yeah, so at this moment, maybe we will not talk about, or maybe we'll not talk about the solution for whatever confusion or doubts or thoughts you had uh, about this whole process of the child deciding. I think it's your own journey, which you will figure out, which you will discover along with the child. What I want to do is that just play a small video which is there on the slide number 5. Just watch that and then give me a yes in the chat window, and then
are you able to watch it? Just see if that video plays.
yeah. Meanwhile, maybe Amit, I'm making co-host to you, so you can try. Ratish is trying. And see if screen sharing helps.
Yeah, Amit, you are the co-host now, so see if you can share the presentation.
Okay, sir. 1 minute.
Sure.
Yeah.
Just give me 1 minute.
Yeah. Take your time. No. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for responding in chat that you are done with that video. I'm moving on to slide number 6. Actually, I had done an animation to present you one by one, but then I think it's okay. If it is looking too much information for you, just stay with me. I'll take you through one by one. So this whole concept of planning was or is not the outcome we want. A child has done planning, child has not done planning, child is following planning, child is not following planning, child is doing something and saying something, or saying something and doing something. I think it was not for the outcome. The moment we start thinking about the outcome, we actually move away from the process. So I want to bring you back to the process again, and reinforce that this whole process is to develop, or even bring a spark for our children who are already self-directed learner. Yeah, all we need to do is that just be with them and just move ahead with them. So in a way, when you're asking, or when you are thinking about, or maybe you are worrying about, or maybe you have confusion about that, what do I do? My child is not doing planning. Or what do I do if my child has said something and then not doing something? Maybe you are asking that, how do I understand what is my role? When do I start and when do I stop? How much do I intervene, and how much, when you're asking me a question that how much do I intervene, actually you're asking what kind of role can I play? How can I bring value addition to whatever the child is doing right now, whatever the child's exposure is still now? what else can I do? I'm so used to, or maybe one way of, we all are used to one way or few ways of doing it. You're actually asking the question that what else can I do? Yeah. Maybe some of you are also thinking that how do I understand my purpose of this whole concept, that why do I want the child to decide? Why do I want this whole process of a child deciding? Yeah. Maybe you're looking for some stories, some interaction to get understanding about this whole concept, or maybe create your own concept through this understanding. I'm not sure through this whole process you are asking to know about the history of the world. I think that we can just not co-create at this time, that how do we learn the history of the world. We can move ahead with that. How do we co-create in these sessions the questions which you are asking, the things which you are looking forward to. Yeah, I'll pause with the next slide, which is slide number 7 by Jean Piaget, which he says that teaching means creating situations where structures can be discovered. Yeah. If I actually, as a facilitator of SDL for all of you right now, can start sharing my structure, or I start creating my structure for you and your child and your family, I think you will miss the opportunity to discover yourself. And at the same time, if you start structuring your child learning through your understanding, or through what you think is planning, or what you think is learning, or what you think is the gaining knowledge, or even what you think is the future, I think maybe the chances are that we will miss out on to let the child create that structure for himself. Yeah, I'll pause with this slide, and then I can see some of still. Yeah, Vishruti. Yeah, okay. She's being taken care. Yeah, Amit, I'm on slide number 7. And before I move ahead, I just want to take few thoughts if anybody has anything at this moment before we move ahead. You can come on mic or type in the chat window. Yes, Raj.
Hi, Aditi. Kinesh.
Yeah.
Hi. So I think this has been one of the worries that I have about the structures.
Wait. So
the basic structures.
Wait, Rajni. Right now, we are not taking a specific question. I'm asking your thought on this whole process of discovering structure for yourself.
Structure of letting the child plan is the question you're asking?
I'm asking your journey.
So my journey for letting the child design his plan, right?
Maybe you can pause for some more time, and then maybe little mull over it. What we are talking about right now. What we are talking about right now is that this whole concept of discovering myself. So at this moment, you're discovering yourself as a parent. You're discovering maybe a different way of working. Maybe you're discovering your own child. Yeah. Without me giving you the structure, without me giving you solution for each and every question which you have at this moment. It's just the 2 days of our journey which we started together.
Okay. Okay. Oh, I can pass then. I don't have too much to share. I can
Yep,
pass.
yep,
Thank
yep.
you.
Thank you. Maybe if anybody else has, you can type in the chat window. Yes, Ritu, you want to come on the mic, please come.
Hi, Aditi. Am I
Hi.
audible? Yeah,
Yes, yeah.
yeah. So, my reflection on this whole learning of this process is that one, we've lived a very structured life, and this is a full new education to us. Forget about educating your children or what to do for your children. I think
Hmm.
I'm learning for myself
Mhm.
that how to open the fist and how to unlearn and then just learn organically, which is beautiful and it's very new.
Yeah,
So
it's maybe it's challenging also.
it's challenging because you've lived so many years in a very structured environment. You've
Yeah,
been taught like this, you've been teaching like this, you've
yeah,
been in the whole environment like this. So I
yeah,
think right now the whole challenge is to first unlearn those past years of learning and
yeah.
then understand what you're saying. That's what
And
my
also, yeah, sorry, are you done? Means,
yes.
yeah,
Yes.
sorry. So another thing is also which we can actually, if we can reflect back and then understand that it's a new journey for the child also. It's only a 2 days of taking the charge in my hand. And then child is trying to understand, what do I do with the day given to me? What do I do when somebody is asking you decide? I have decided, now what do I do? How do I move ahead? Okay, so it's not only challenging for you, it's also challenging for the child. It might be we say that the freedom is not easy because once I get the freedom, I need to weigh a lot of things, and I need to understand what does the freedom means to me. So let's understand. So maybe no hurry right now to um, um, to even go back to the child and then say you haven't done the planning. Maybe it's not the time right now. Maybe we just need to be with the child. Maybe we need to be with the process, what's going around. And yeah, any other thought? uh,
Yeah, Aditi,
yeah,
for last 2 days, I had a little difficulties of putting Arya on a planning because I found myself that I don't wanted to plan out my day. Then how
yeah,
can you even plan out the day? Then like today morning when we were doing exercise, so I asked him a word called what? I said, यार आर्य तूने ये word सुना है planning करके? He said, हाँ पापा आरोही में सुना था. Okay. And I said, okay. तो I said, हम लोग कुछ करें वो वर्ड के बारे में? He said, हाँ करते हैं. मैंने पूछा आज तेरा प्लानिंग क्या है?
yeah.
He
So
said, मेरा
Amit, yeah,
प्लानिंग
Amit, sorry to interrupt
हाँ
with, yeah, maybe it will be nice that if you share this story, maybe record and share on WhatsApp.
हाँ हाँ हाँ
Yeah, I know you're quite excited about it. Surbi has also shared something about uh, exciting, engaging. You're seeing 2 days a child's excitement to discover their own structure. Yeah, I'm quite happy. Not happy. Yeah, you could recognize what the child is going through. Maybe excited. Maybe some children are going through nervousness. Maybe some children are going through the worries that, oh my God, now I have to plan. I have to now perform, and all those things. So again and again, I'm inviting you to be with your child. Uh, and I put okay, maybe the slide number 7, if anybody wants to read again what Jean Piaget has to say uh, about the self-discovery or the structure which I can discover myself. I want to move on to slide number 8. And before we move ahead with the session, I have put up a few thoughts of mine that how this whole process can be beneficial for all of us, which includes our participation, uh, maybe sharing experiences, asking, seeking clarity on the group, maybe questioning what we are doing right now, maybe arguing with each other. Uh, and then trying to understand through argument that what I'm thinking right now, maybe accept each other in the group, maybe accept our children. And the another thing which I thought will help all of us to get benefit is that if we can keep if the personal stories are shared, if we keep it to the group only, and even if I'm not saying we don't share the stories what's happening, but then something someone may not like to be shared, so maybe not share those and keep the privacy of the group for the benefit of all. So what I have done is I have put few points, but I want you to choose from these points what is that you would like to do to get the benefit from this whole program. I'm pausing for you to go through the list to decide at this moment. You can change your decision after the session or maybe keep changing, but at this moment you can choose what is that you would like to do out of this, or maybe not do at all anything out of it, and you're fine that you know that you will get you will receive the benefit what you want to get it out from this session or this whole program. And if you think you have something else also which you think can help to get the benefit, maybe type of the chat window, maybe we can add in our list, and then it will give people to choose from what is the list. Yeah, Mansi is yeah, Mansi, maybe what you have put that what should I do, I'm stuck there. Yep, that's where I guess my slide number 9 is there, that what we will cover. Janelle, you have a question or you just writing it down? If you have a question, yeah, you can type it out.
She's saying questioning from.
Okay, you said you will be choosing questioning. Yep, yeah. Yeah, so the action plan for this session, maybe the today's session, is based on the responses which we had, is that we do a little bit of reflection not on the planning, but reflection on the process, which we did just now some time back. And then we also understand some of you are asking that how do we add value, whether we should add or not. I think that is what I will leave it to you to discover, how to add that value. But then we can share some of the tools which we use in Aarohi, and then and then see if that helps you to add value in whatever the child's journey is. And then, and this whole concept of co-creating, what we did right now on slide number 9 is that what kind of agreements we want, we actually are co-creating. I'm presenting, you are decided. Yeah. I'm presenting whatever is whatever are based on the questions which you had, thoughts you had. I'm presenting something to you. It's you decide what you want to take out of this. What will not be actioning in this session today is that solution to make child do what the child wants to, what the child has planned. Yeah, we're not dealing with those solutions, because I think I don't need to give the answer. You need to dial the child. And when I say dial the child, maybe I was too vague on WhatsApp that dial the child is go back to your child and ask your child. Mansi, go and ask your child that you decided this yesterday, and this is the thing. What are you thinking about it? What is your opinion about it? We really go back to the child and ask their opinion. Believe me, they have lots and lots of opinions, as many of us has the opinions. Children also have the opinion, but then I don't know who's listening to their opinion. So we will not be taking the solutions for what to do if the child is not doing the planning. I think you need to go back to the child. Yeah. Yeah, Gitu is asking, please. Yeah, dial the child. I was saying that you need to go back to the child.
Yeah, also maybe dial the child means we co-create with the child. The idea is that uh, whatever we are thinking, whatever questions we are getting, whatever doubts we are getting, let's co-create them with the child, much like how we can co-create with each other here in this session. So co-creating is very different from we've been very used to being the drivers of the child's life. As somebody mentioned, we have a tight fist and everything is in control, right? So now we are moving away from that and trying to say, hey, can we co-create? Which means we have to open our fist if we want to hold each other's hand. So let's open our fist, let's hold each other's hand, and let's see if we can co-create with our children.
So Ruchi, I'm not saying that we should not ask. I'm asking you to go and interact with them. I'm asking you to connect with them and co-create this whole concept that what next now. Yeah. Yeah, some of the questions that you're asking, interrogating and all that, I think I will leave it to you to discover with the child. And let's move ahead. Yeah, Rajni, you can share the discussion in WhatsApp group. Today we will not be able to take those discussions. So let me clarify roles which me, Ratnesh, and Leela would be playing in this whole next 6 more sessions in this program.
And the mentors on WhatsApp.
And the mentors on WhatsApp is that our aim is to agitate you. Slide number 10. Disturb you, agitate you, and that's what we actually also do with children. So you are not different for us. We are not selling any bread here. We are selling the ease to do whatever it will do to you. Yeah. Not sure. Somebody with name AM is asking. Child's school curriculum doesn't allow us to co-create. I disagree with it. I think it begins with the home. Home plays a huge role in child's life, and you can start playing from right now. Yeah. Let's move on to slide number 11.
I guess the next part of the session, which if you can see the slide, talks about possibilities. So if we start by saying that this school doesn't leave us options, then we are saying there are no possibilities. But if you look beyond school, then there are loads and loads of possibilities. So let the school decide what school is doing. Let the society decide what the society is doing. Let the government decide how long the lockdown lasts. But always at any point of time, we have hundreds of possibilities if we are ready to co-create.
Yeah. So let's move ahead with this next part of the session, next 10 slides. Second half of the session, we would be sharing our possibilities with you. So let's begin with learning from living. I think coronavirus has given us a huge opportunity to learn from living, but at this moment, not talking about the situation, what we are going through right now. I just want you to take you back to your own learning process. That how did you learn to take care of kitchen, and when did you start it? Have you learned how to repair your tube light? Or even have you even questioned that why do you need to learn how to manage your money? And how and when did this process started for you?
I think coronavirus is an interesting example. I mean, for many of us, at least for me, virus was just virus. We didn't really know what virus is. At best, we knew that it causes some diseases. But now that the coronavirus came around, and now suddenly we are reading what is a virus, what does hand wash do to the virus, what kind of protein layer it has, and so on and so forth. And does it move on and so on? Does it call and creep?
And I think that's what I think some of them are responding on the chat, that when the need arise, when we were left on our own, when the responsibility was given, whatever, the invention of motherhood, uh, or maybe when we discover that I'm the one now, I have to take care of the kitchen no matter what happened, I have to understand my money. Or maybe at like Poonam is saying, that when we understood that there's an importance of this learning, or there is a possibility, or there is an opportunity for us to learn this. So the question comes is that, isn't that there is nothing from our children's life that they can learn while they are living? And why do they have to wait till they become 25, 30-year-old and then start learning about kitchen, or start learning about money, or start learning about how does the tube light works? Isn't it that right now there are lots of possibilities for them to learn? There is a one way that I'm using the say toothpaste in the morning. Another way is I take responsibility for the whole house. Before I take, if I'm given that responsibility, that you are the toothpaste manager from now onwards of the house. You will decide who will get what kind of toothpaste, and then you will decide what criteria people will use to buy the toothpaste. You will approve the toothpaste, whether it is nutrition or whatever.
You are the brushing consultant.
You're the brushing consultant of the home, and you would be deciding that which brand to buy and what not to buy. What will happen if the child
when to brush,
how
how
to
much
brush?
to brush? Maybe the child counts how much Papa brushes.
Yeah. So why not those possibilities are there for our children? Is it that uh, uh, those are not considered as a learning spaces, or those are not considered as learning opportunities? Or is it that we have not looked at it? So I just want to share that whatever happens in Aarohi, we actually start with how can we involve children in that. And we don't involve by giving them something. We involve them, that one of the way of we involve them by creating these possibilities for them. When we think of kitchen, we think of, okay, who can be the cooking, who can be the menu manager, who would like to take grocery in charge, who would like to ensure that the fruits are coming in time, who would like to ensure that the meals are nutritious, there is a balance in our menu. Okay, so maybe before I move ahead and share a few more things, how we look at the learning and living together, there are a couple of responses on the chat window, where the Surbi is sharing the responsibility of bathing soap for the whole family. Yeah, interesting. Yeah. Ruchi, I'm not sure what you are trying to say. Are you saying there are not enough possibilities, or you're saying there are enough possibilities? Yeah, okay, you are better. Possibilities are, yes, there are possibilities are there for each one, right from the, we had, there was a time when we had a 3-year-old who was our menu in charge. And his menu was chapati and sugar for lunch, chapati and sugar for dinner. And then we approached him and then say, maybe I will not be able to eat chapati and sugar for all the meals. Then he considered putting up some vegetable for the people who wanted to have vegetable. But the point is that he could think, he could make the menu for all of us. Yep. Okay, so Ruchi, I'm not sure that what you're talking about is taking the workload, or why they are not taking the responsibility. Possibly, it's a quite a good question for all of us to think. All of us to munch over it and understand that what is not letting them that take responsibility. Is it that they are not capable enough? No, 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 no. Remember, first session, first life, we said our children, all of us are capable. Maybe we need to look at it differently. That how can we create these possibilities for 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 all of us? Yes, Parul, what you're saying is makes us crazy. Uh, yeah, it makes us crazy even when it takes a lot of time for things to happen. But I think if we can shift our approach completely from the product to the process, um, then we get the results. At this moment, I just want to share a uh, small story which happened here in Aarohi. Is we were supposed to get a bus in auction, and and the team which was working, we had children from 10 years to Ratnesh 50 years. And the one who decided for our budget was a 10-year-old accountant. At the time, he was 10-year-old and he was an accountant. He was asked what should be our budget for this auction. He actually went around and did his calculation, and he gave us the budget of 1,80,000. He said, close the deal. Beyond that, maybe you need to rethink about it. And when this actual auction was happening, the auction happened with the government of Karnataka, and there were 2 or 3 bidders happening. So online auction was happening. And this whole group is sitting. Maybe I'll share the photo. I'll share the blogs and stories with you. And there was a time where the 2 parties put up 1,80,000 as their bid, and then the group went back to this accountant and then said, tell us what should we do. He did quick calculations and he said, beyond 2.2, you're not going. Yeah, then this deal is not worth. So that's your limit. And we won the bid at 2,19,000. Okay, so the whole thing, okay, that's a success story, but there are a lot of unsuccessful stories also, where things breaks, takes time.
Yeah, but there is no unsuccessful story because the success isn't to do with the outcome, Aditi. The success is to do with the process which leads the child to so many learning, which he or she enjoys learning. So in that sense, all stories are success stories, though the outcome may be totally against our expectations.
Yeah, so thanks for reminding me that, it's not about the success. And I wanted to caution the group that not that some of these glorious stories are the one which are the learning opportunity that we have. A lot of other stories where maybe the product didn't come out, but the process happened, and then kids learned a lot of things by failing, by making mistakes, by trying out, by thinking about it, by you experiencing it.
In a way, how will I learn responsibility if I first learn irresponsibility, then I'll possibly at some point learn responsibility. That's one way of learning responsibility. It's like first falling and then walking.
Okay. So, so the one of the way we create possibilities for children is that whenever there is something in front of us, we start thinking, how do we create this as a learning opportunity for anyone, any age. And I think some of these things which are put up, we do detail it out, we discuss, we announce, we invite, and then we move ahead.
I want to give a point. Somebody was mentioning about that teenagers within quotes not responding. Present it to them with teenagers, just because they are teenagers, they are 15, 14, whatever. there's an expectation there. Now, when we go to them with an expectation and we say, this needs to be done, then
Or we also go with a command that you need to do this. Now you better do that. You are this age. You are so, you're at this age.
So either an overt command or a covert command or an expectation that kills the whole thing. When we go with an open offer, then
co-creation.
Co-creation, yeah. So the co-creation is very, very important.
Yeah, some of you are giving feedback that not clear. Yeah, we'll take care. Okay, they could not hear, Ratnesh, what you spoke in last 1 minute, so you have to repeat again. Okay, so it's better. Okay.
Sometimes it's good you didn't hear me.
Okay, so slide number 13. Okay, I think you can repeat again about the teenagers, Ratnesh. I think a couple of them have not.
Okay, I was just sharing that with teenagers, just because they're a little older, we tend to think of them as that they should do this. You see the should part, and we have expectations, and that is why we go loaded with commands and expectations, and that's where the whole thing gets spoiled. Instead, if we start with co-creating, we think about together what all are the different needs of, let's say, the family, the house, the life, etc. I think that's a totally different approach.
I think our job is to create possibilities, yeah, and their job is to choose. Yeah? The whole concept, we have still not moved away from the concept that I decide. Yeah, there are certain possibilities I get excited about it. There are certain possibilities. Maybe I'm not at that. Maybe I have my own apprehension, my own attention about my skills, my time, my other commitments. Like you and me will think twice before taking any responsibility. Same way, I think we need to give space to our children to be able to decide. But I think the core is that I decide. Let's move ahead to the slide number 13, and you decide why would you like to create these possibilities for children. I think our funda is very clear. We want to do this for exposure, enlarging, and expansion. Someone was asking, how do I add value? How do I expose my child to? Rashmi was asking, how do I expose my child to new things? Parul was asking exposure. Ritu was asking striking balance. I think maybe Ritu was asking about striking balance between academics and other things. Not sure we need to separate them out. Yeah, it's just that they are into a system where it is separated out. But I don't think when it comes to exposure, enlarging, and expansion, we can still create possibilities in many different ways.
And maybe the child will balance it out. Why do we need to balance it out for him? It is his life. He's directed. She's directed. She will figure out how much of what she wants to focus on.
Like many of us have or are doing it. Okay, so let's move on to slide number 14 and pause there.
Okay, I'll read out the Maria Montessori quote. It says, to aid life, leaving it free, however, that is the basic task of the educator. So the key words is aid life and then leaving it free. So I guess here we are looking at when Maria Monte is saying to aid life, here she is talking about creating possibilities for the child. And then leaving it free means leave it free for the child to pick up what the child wants to choose.
And explore. Yeah, Amit, possibly you will define your own purpose of being a parent, a mentor in your child's.
Yeah, Aditya, I wanted to know what is this word called to aid life? Like leaving it free somewhere is understandable, but to aid life, like it is in what context?
Yes, to aid life in the context of possibilities, which we are talking about right now, is that how do I add value
How do we enrich the child's canvas or the child's life?
Yeah. So, like some of are asking that child has a limited exposure. How do I expand it? Yeah, exposure is actually all around us, and I, as a parent, can aid that possibility for the child, and then leaving it free. Yeah. Uh, I'm moving on to slide number 15. Is that, I mean, Amit, maybe if you want, we can have a little more discussion on WhatsApp. Uh, right now, let's move ahead. Slide number 15. And I want you to, I want to invite you. Okay, my slide is exposed, so you can already see that when I look at the tree, I look at the tree, whichever way, my own perspective. But when I start looking at the tree from different possibilities, I think I look at the tree differently. Yeah. When I look at the tree as a painter, as a poet, as a naturalist, as a mathematician, as a politician, as a dancer, and many more different ways. What am I doing? I'm seeing different possibilities in the tree.
Yeah, if I look at it from my cat's perspective, she likes to go and scratch the tree.
Yeah, so I think many of us have a different way of looking at it. Amit was asking, what's our purpose? Possibly, I will say, what's our role? Our role is to create those possibilities, to aid our children's life with many different kind of exposures. And with that thought, I want to pause at the slide number 16. Where is a quote from Vygotsky, where he's not only talking about the ability to think, he's also talking about the ability to think from a different, he's using the word variety of things. And what you're doing is, when you're creating those possibilities for your child, you're creating those possibility in many different forms. Yeah. I'll pause here and maybe take some thoughts on chat window. What are you thinking right now?
If you want to use voice also,
Yes,
you
yes,
can
yeah,
come on
yeah.
voice.
Beautiful, Ritu, uh, assessing yourself in your own way. Yeah, maybe Jinal, you can go back to your child and then share your confusion with your child. Pranish, I'm not sure what is right environment or what is wrong environment. It's just an environment. What we are presenting here is the possibilities within that environment. And that's not the limit. It's just the one possibility we have shared with you. Yeah, I'm happy that some AM you have put it up again. Possibly that question is still agitating you. That question is still, you are seeking something out of it, and then you are asking it again. That how this whole process, because the school has already done some processes with them, and I'm also repeating the same thing. Yeah, school has done, but then I think still there's a lot more possibilities lies in the home. Yeah, and also remember, AM, that when you are sharing in a group, you're not only helping yourself, you're also helping a lot more people who might be either thinking or maybe not thinking, but then you're igniting the thought in them. So that's beautiful, and thanks for asking it again and again. I think I'm repeating again and again that we as parents can still create lots of possibilities for the child. Yep. Yeah, I know. In terms of thoughts, in terms of process, maybe in terms of inputs, I'm going a little faster than what you can, what you are munching or mulling over it. Just allow me to give you one more possibilities, and then you have next few days to munch over it. Uh, and yeah, someone is asking that leaving free child may feel ignored. Uh, Maybe you need to define HP. That's your name is appearing on the phone. That what does it mean to leave free? I think when you define that leaving free, possibly you will find the solution that because we are not talking about disconnecting with child. We are talking about connecting with child.
We're talking about co-creation. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. Yeah. Yeah. So thanks for clarifying, Jenny. I could not see your name on that. Yes, Jenny. Uh, uh, I think you need to maybe connect with yourself and understand what does it feel means, and what does disconnect means, and what is the ignorance means, and what is the connection means. Yeah, Rich is talking about that. We are talking about the freedom to choose. We are also talking about responsibility to choose. I think when we're talking about freedom, we are not even talking about the response. Isn't it that they are taking responsibility for what they are choosing?
Yeah, I think let's not use the word freedom to choose. I think let's use the term responsibility to choose. Let's give the child the responsibility to choose.
Yeah, Vishruti is talking about not reaching to any destination. It's a journey, every day changing and evolving. Yeah, so Riddhi is saying, yes, we are talking about involving. I think I will even say to go one step ahead. No. We are not holier than thou. We are not above the children. Say that, okay, now I'm involving in my process, or I'm involving in living what we are talking about. I think I'll go back to the same concept that we are co-creating whatever is happening around. Yep. Let me present one more possibility, and then see if I'm able to create more confusion, more agitation. Okay, so when we talk about, say, learning, someone also asked about that. How do I strike balance? Somebody also asked that how do I make the child go towards academics? I want to invite you to come out of that and then start thinking in terms of possibilities. Someone also said that, I think Poonam shared that my child learns only through drawings. My child is not writing. Isn't that's another possibility? That using that, how can I learn many different things? How can I aid child's learning using all the possibilities which child has within himself? So it's just a few words which are there on the slide number 17, which you look at it, and if you start looking from about them or from a perspective of possibilities, I see a whole lot of things to do. I don't know about others, but for myself, I see a lot of possibilities to explore, do, create, decide, choose. Yeah.
I guess that is exactly where the parents' role can come in. If, for example, the school has narrowed down the map to some 6, 7, 8 subjects, we can explore it to 60,000 subjects. Right? There must be at least 60,000 subjects taught all across the world. So why not? So it's up to us to see much or see and show much wider horizon than being caught up with this, oh, school is doing this or whatever, society is doing this.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see in another 5 minutes if we can create more possibilities. I'll take one or two examples just to share this process with all of you. Amit, can you put the presentation in presentation mode because there is a little animation? Yeah, and if you can't do that's okay. Next slide, Amit.
Yeah, I think he's putting it in presentation.
I go to the next slide.
Yeah, Amit. Slide number 18.
I learned how to do it presentation mode right now.
Yeah, yes. Maybe one more click. Yeah, and we can see a poster saying music, dance, drama, and media. Okay. So all of us have children of different ages. So, so what I'm presenting is not to do with the age of the child. What it is to do with is that how do I create those possibilities for the children? So when you think about music, dance, and drama and media, what comes in your mind? What kind of possibilities you think you can create for your child? Maybe, yeah, if you want to type on the chat window, but then I think if you do this whole exercise in your notebook or somewhere, you make notes for yourself. That gives you a way ahead for it. Yeah. So, or maybe type on the chat window because then it can help the group, and then you can do it later
With your child,
with your
maybe
child.
later.
Yeah, with your child you can do later. Okay, so let's type on the chat window. Yeah. So when you think of music, dance, drama, what comes in your mind?
What kind of possibilities come to your mind?
Yeah. What kind of possibilities comes in your mind? Yeah. Yeah. And you will realize that some of the things which some of your typing is new for somebody else. Yeah, Amit is talking about copying, somebody's talking about teamwork, somebody's talking about role plays.
DJing coming to my mind.
Ratnesh is talking about DJing. Yeah, Pallavi is talking about physics. Yeah, so Ritu, right now we're not talking about the classes, we're not talking about the teaching. What we are talking about is what we think, what comes in our mind, that what kind of possibilities comes in our mind when we think of these words. Yeah, voice experiments. Yeah. Yeah, Amit is thinking about watching few more things. Voice modulation. Leela is sharing RJing. Yeah. How about presenting all these possibilities to our children and then invite them to choose what they would like to explore? Yeah. Some of our children might be aware of this, some of our children might not be aware of it. It might be different. Like I think Amit was exploring planning with his child. again, I just want to bring it to the attention to the group that when we are presenting these possibilities, we are not presenting a curriculum to them. What we are presenting is the option, and the process still remains the same. Suppose child says, I want to do puppetry, or child say, oh, voice modulation sounds very exciting.
The child may say none of them.
Yeah, may none of them. So let me come back to what maybe the child say, yes, I want to do voice modulation. And I think process still remains the same. If I can ask the child, okay, what all do you know about voice modulation? What all you have done in voice modulation? Where all you have experienced this? And what's in your mind? What would you like to do with that? And I think that's where the journey begins for the child, when you invite him with his own experience, that what is that I would like to do. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So we can take one more, Amit. I have put maps of 9. Yeah. One more click, and I think something else will come. Okay. One. Okay. So when you think of literature and language, what comes in your mind? When you think of science, environment, ecology, what comes in your mind? Yes, Smita is talking about stories. She's Isha is talking about expression, and the literature and language comes in your mind. Yeah. Yes, getting to know other culture. Yeah, Amit, not necessarily you need to learn all the millions of things which we have in this world. None of us knew about coronavirus, but we are learning about it. None of us knew that soap can break the protein layer, but we are learning about it. We are learning as we are moving ahead. Yep. Imagine you do, yeah, there is lots and lots of things coming on chat window. Imagine you do the same process with your child. Maybe not in one day, maybe just after the session just don't start. That's my suggestion. You're excited, and then, okay, come, there allow at least 500 possibilities for you to choose from. Yeah, somebody's talking about regional series with subtitles. Somebody's talking about upcycling. Yeah, I think I will pause for these possibilities for now. There are a few more prompts. Amit, you can just click and move to slide number 19. Yeah, few more clicks, Amit, you have to do.
Okay.
Yes, and the next slide, 19. Okay, so what this slide is talking about is that we don't need to bind the child by anything. We also don't need to bind the child by any method. I think a child is capable of leading himself by through his own dreams, his own interests, his own aspirations, and through his own possibilities. Okay, and the slide number 20, which is asking a question, why are we doing this? Or what are we doing with all this? I just want to bring you a concept of collection to you. What we are doing is we are collecting lots and lots of things to create stimulation and to create possibilities for our children. Yep. We are moving towards the slide number 21.
Can you explain this again? What are
Which one? Somebody's asking something?
Yeah, can you explain what are we doing again?
What
Hello?
are we doing? Yeah, tell me, what are we doing till now?
No, no. I didn't understand collection. I mean, collecting what?
What have been collecting till now?
What instantly comes to my mind was collecting possibilities.
Yeah, yes, we are collecting possibilities. We are collecting lots of different things. I think on the chat window, if you see the moment I say the word media and I think music and lots of possibilities came. And then imagine I collect all these ideas and then I present it to the child and then not in one go. Okay. First, I'm collecting it for myself and then allowing or presenting it to the child for the child to collect that. Okay, so many things are possible. I may choose it that right now, or I may choose it after 50 years. But I have lots of collection in my kitty, in my piggy bank, and that collection is creating a lot of stimulation inside me. That there's so much possible. I don't need to get binded by those few subjects or few possibilities. Um, I have lots of things. Am I there with you, Shruti?
Uh,
That was amazing.
just to bring a slightly different way of looking at it, not sometimes, many times I'm asked that, okay, a child in the village, or some people even say in a slum kind of a scenario, is totally self-driven. His parents are least bothered what he or she is up to, and isn't that self-driven learner, so why aren't they going places? So possibly the answer lies here, that while they have maybe freedom in the sense of being self-directed, but they may not have enough possibilities, which is where we come in, as exposing, as bringing these kind of stimulation, as bringing these kind of resources for children as possibilities. And yeah, sometimes even within the limited possibilities, it's not the children of village or children of slum are any less. They are able to figure that out, but they have much, I would say, less possibilities uh, offered to them as compared to what, let's say, we can do for our children. So that, I think, that is the big difference. And which is why the difference in self-directed learning does not mean you go learn yourself, I am no more responsible for you, but I have a very large and an exciting and an active role to play, just a very different role to play.
Okay, so yes. Okay, so let's move to slide number 21. Sunita is adding that yes, bigger responsibility. Okay, so the action plan for us is that how do we reflect not onto the product. Reflect, maybe you can just design your own reflection. Maybe you can do one product also, if that is right now you are thinking about it. Go ahead and then experience that with your child, and maybe see how can you bring value addition, as Maria Montessori was talking about, aid life, and then how can you leave it to the child and both of you co-creating what's the next step. And I think that's what is the possibilities. And I think let me share this small little story before we take the thoughts, and we are moving towards 4:30. Today we started a little late. We can take few more responses. We can have some more interaction before we close, and then close it with a story. Yeah, Ritu, is getting clearer. Maybe it will get confused as we move ahead. No pun intended. It's just that, yeah. It becomes clearer as we move deeper into this whole process. Otherwise, from the outside, it just looks, oh, child decide, and then, there's nothing. How can I? And I'm there with all of you, all the worries, all the inquiries, all the anxiety coming out on the WhatsApp that what should I do? I'm there with completely with you. That's about this whole new process. Yeah, somebody is asking what is not actioning. I'm saying the same slide which we have put in the beginning is that what we are not offering right now is the solution to you, that how to make the child whatever the child has planned. Possibly for that you need to dial the child with possibilities this time. Go back to the child and interact, communicate, and co-create with the child. Amit, I thought I was answering in my own way.
Aditi, for
Yeah,
last
Jitan, now
7-8 years, I've been always getting the same answer.
I haven't changed. So Amit, I haven't changed. I haven't grown. I need to do something about it. Yeah, Jitan, you need to now decide. You need to choose when do you want to present what to the child. Or rather, how do you want to now co-create with the child? My job was easy, to load you with lots and lots of possibilities. I think your job begins now. Yeah, Rashmi, yeah, you do share your questions. It's always a pleasure to read those questions, to receive those questions, to understand those questions. Yeah, just before we close, I think the next slide number 22, there are some resources. Resources are in terms of maybe as you get time, bit by bit, you can read them through. Those are the real life stories with children.
Some possibilities.
Some more possibilities. Yeah, somebody, I think there's some message. Yes, Poonam, and I think that's a realization that the same thing applies for our children, that the ready-made answers are not made for our children also. Then how can we give our way of answering to our children? I think that's a beautiful thought, Poonam, which you have put, that there aren't any ready-made solutions. It's food everywhere. Yeah, there is no one right approach for one person. I think we need to co-create.
Yeah, let's not buy cheap ready-made. Let's do some designer clothes. Co-design with the child.
Okay.
Yeah, so one little story. The story comes from Milton H. Erickson, who is considered to be the father of hypnosis and so on, therapy and so on. So he tells of a childhood story where he was a young boy and a horse came in his near to his house, and there were no marks on the horse. So he didn't know who was the owner of the horse. So
be close to the mic. Your voice is not coming clear to us. So
okay, is it better now?
हाँ, अभी आप थोड़े अच्छे लग रहे हैं.
Okay. Okay. So I was telling the story told by Milton Erickson, and he's talking about when he was a young lad and a horse came into his backyard, and the horse had no markings on it, so he couldn't figure out whose horse it was. Otherwise, by markings, they can figure out whose horse it is. But this horse had no markings. So what he did was, he kind of got onto the horse and started riding, brought it onto the road, and he kind of kind of let the horse, if the horse went here or there to, eat some grass or drink some water or something, he let him go and then he pulled him back to the road. That's all. And finally, the horse reached the owner's place. So the owner says, "Hey, how did you know? How could you find my house? How did you know this is my horse?" So he said, "I did not know. The horse knew where to go. I just kind of was with him and kept him on the road. That's all I did." So something for you to think about. So thank you very much. And once again, double thank you for adjusting with all this internet and Zoom issues. I don't know where the issues. We have to still do our detective work and figure out why we weren't able to do it. And thanks, Amit, for being the co-host. We might use it more. This is good. I like it. Like co-creation, this is co-hosting. Everybody seeing presentation on their device and all those things. So interesting. Thank you, everybody, for your patience.
Yeah, and stay alive on WhatsApp. Thank you, everyone.